and welcome back to sunny Denmark. We are live for the culmination of the first ever World Championships in knockout sprint orienteering. The whole day started about 8 hours ago with the qualification rounds where the top 12 made it through to the quarterfinals. We have run those quarterfinals now, only half of those runners making it through to the semi-finals, and we've really got the sharp end of the competition now. It's going to be brutal to see who can make it through to those medals at the end and who will be crowned the first ever world champion in knockout sprint orienteering. It's going to be a fantastic evening full of sport, full of drama. If the qualifications were anything to go by, this is going to be a really fantastic race. We are situated right in the middle of Fredericia here. It is an old kind of military town, very, very grid-like structure, but a lot of these courtyards, as you can see, we're right by the sea. We've got some wonderful fortifications around here, and the crowd have turned out for a weekday evening to support their favourite runners around this dramatic and exciting knockout sprint semi-final and final. It has already been an incredible day, and a few people who didn't manage to make it through from the qualifier. First of all, before we even start with that, a few people not running today's knockout sprint because maybe they're focusing on the individual sprint itself. A couple of names to mention there, Jonas.
Yeah, and especially in the men's class, we have Yannick Michels, who is focusing on the individual sprint. I mean, you mentioned it before. It's an intense day. We started 8 hours ago, and then you have the qualification, you have the quarterfinal, semi-final, and the final is 4 runs.
And you have all the warming up and cooling down between that as well. Incredible.
Of course, it's an advantage for the sprint to not run here today, but it's a special decision, in my opinion, anyway. Then also we have Kasper Foster, who decided to not run today after some struggling with injury that came back after the sprint relay, and also Emil Svensk, who had some illness last week and decided to focus totally on the sprint, the individual sprint.
This is the one woman to really be a shock then from the qualification into the final. Caroline Olsen of Sweden didn't make it. She missed punched and obviously really, really distraught at not being able to make it. I think it was maybe the only race that she was running, so that's why it was just incredible to see her, the fact that she didn't actually make it through to that. A few others missed out as well.
Yeah, they're in the men's class again. I mean, you mentioned Caroline Olsson. She was more or less the only favorite in the women's class, and in the men's class we had Joey Haddon missing out after a big mistake in the beginning. Petersli, also he did a mistake in the beginning and missed out, and Basset did a mistake and kind of didn't think that he wouldn't make it and didn't give it all in the end,
really
and
surprised.
missed out. And one on the lucky side was Tim Robertson, who made it by just 1 second, and also he was one of the guys you could feel that he was quite confident when he came from the last control and maybe didn't give it all, and in the end it was very tight for him.
So we're watching now some pictures then from the quarterfinals, a few of the highlights. That was quarterfinal number 2. You saw the mistake by the ramparts there, but Chris Jones, Johnny Crickmore and Aaron Bacco going through from that one. We're going to pick out a couple of the interesting heats. I think this was one with Wojciech Kral. This was quarterfinal number 4, and we did see a great variety in the style of which those quarterfinals are run. Some everybody stayed together, some were a lot quicker than others, and some we saw mistakes like in that men's quarterfinal number 2.
Yeah, we saw many mistakes at control 4 when they were leaving towards control 5, and I think that changed the behavior of many runners, because if you want to go through smoothly, you have to find your position in the group, and you're depending on that the group is going well, and as soon as you do mistake, then the whole dynamic is mixed up and messed up again. So those many mistakes you can see here, for example, Tim Robertson having this one from 4 to 5, it turns everything around, and you can see here, this was the most tight quarterfinal we have seen.
This was incredibly dramatic. We saw them spin up left, right and centre and come back, and look how hard these 6 and 9 are all working to nearly crash into the camera operator. But it was Street, Robertson and Key who managed to make it through then for that one. Oh, that was that was the toughest heat. I labelled that one the heat of death because it was so packed. By huge contrast, Alexanderson way out in front of everybody else.
And it was also tough game for Martin Rekman, who had the lead here towards the second last control. That was also something we've seen many times, that you see it here again. They don't really have control all the way to the second last control, and the same feeling I got towards the fifth control when they were leaving control 4. It's such a stressful situation, and you have to be on top of your orienteering. You don't lose the map contact, otherwise you're easily about to do a few seconds mistake or hesitation, and we have seen that many times in this quarterfinal.
This was quarterfinal number 2. Quite an interesting one, with maybe one of favourites for the medal, Simona Aversold there. And I think this is
famous fourth control. Now you can see that they actually change and come back again, but they could have continued from there.
Yeah.
Maybe even get in front of Aversold.
For me, that just shows how confidence is such an important thing in knockout sprint, because they are feeling not confident there, so they're going to defer to whatever Simona Aversold is doing.
The thing is, you have to take this decision quickly, because either you just follow the others who you see they have control over the situation, but then you have to do it within seconds, otherwise they're too far away, or then you have to read yourself back to the control. And it's kind of as the time is running, you can't wait too many seconds to take this decision, otherwise the others are just disappeared.
This is the final few seconds of quarterfinal number 3, and this one, Carter Davis really taking that. It was we focus here on Christiansen. She's the only Dane to make it through, and then we'll pick up quarterfinal number 5. This one, we saw a lot of chopping and changing. There's some big names in this heat as well. Again, this part of the ramparts proved really tricky, and they had to end up dropping straight down.
Maybe the biggest mistake at this control, but it didn't really matter because the whole group was following and doing the same mistake here. That's so surprising. I mean, you know the areas where the sprint is going, and you can prepare yourself for these different levels. Of course, they have built in some artificial fences, but still, the runners shouldn't be surprised about the fact that the course planner is using this part for a route choice.
No, absolutely not. And for me, Sarah Hagström worked really hard to catch up a couple of places there towards the end. We saw Marika Taney miss out there, but great to see Zema from Ukraine make it through to the semi-finals. Really strong stuff from her. So those quarterfinals combined then, and we have 3 semi-finals each for the men and the women. This is almost one of the trickiest parts of the whole competition. You have to be in the top 2 to make it through to the finals. So only the fastest 2 will go through, and we have our first look at the course. It's different for men and for women on this semi-final.
And you can see that now we're actually starting from the arena. We haven't been starting in the arena in the quarterfinal. There's a route choice to the first control, then it's quite simple controls to control 2 and 3, and then there is another route choice to the 4th control, and I think this one will be quite decisive here already. You can lose a lot there if you choose the wrong route. Then you have an arena passage to control 6 and another route choice there. There it's actually surprisingly a good option to back out from the control. We'll see if how many of the runners that dare to do so back out just after the arena passage. Then again, a route choice from 8 to 9 and to 10 and to the finish. So again, you get the chance in the very end to go in another route if you feel that you have to risk something. This route choice here maybe not as difficult as the other ones before, but this might lead to some more splitting. And here we are behind Ida Bobak, and you see this is the control 2 and 3, one of the simple ones, and now this is the route choice I mentioned before, 3 to 4. And now we will see very soon an area of the course where they actually can choose to run many times in if they feel confident. I mean, if you have been in one area, you know how it looks like, and next time you can be more attacking in this part, and maybe it makes it a bit easier for yourself to push to the limit.
So it's the yellow one that's the shortest there. And that might influence the route choices they take another time, but it's hard to see. This is Ida Bobak then going through one of the kind of the middle route choices here, just to get an idea of what it looks like for the runners.
This is one of the parts you can use many times throughout the competition here. You can see how narrow it is, and you have to be careful here because you have to take many decisions within a short time period. And especially when you're in a group, it can lead to that you just turn too early, and then the whole group is following, as you've seen at the second control before in the quarterfinals. It is quite an intense knockout sprint, and it's not a difficult sprint. And we'll see if it's in the quarterfinal. This was actually leading to that they weren't split up too much. Maybe it will be different in the semi-final and the final. But again, we didn't mention that either. It's unforked, also the semi-final.
Yep.
And of course, the runner will notice that. Maybe not as quickly as in the beginning, because you have the map change. So after the first half, you have to change the map. You have to turn the map to the other side. But then you will see when you turn it that there's no loop or any kind of splitting method on the second part either. So
yeah. And the yellow one, the shortest there, but it's got a big 180 degree turn to get into that section where we saw Ida Bobak running. So I think it's really going to be quite hard to actually see that and execute that really, really well. We can run through then all of the start lists for the 3 semi-finals, and ultimately the shocks for the men's race really came from the qualification. People not making it through. Again, most of the big names making it through. But if we look from the quarterfinals to the semi-finals, pretty much everyone we would have expected has made it. The big names we might see at the starts. Maybe one of the surprises, Aaron Bako from Hungary had a really fantastic run. Chris Jones is there. He's got a bronze in the European Sprint Champs from Neuchâtel. He was 4th fastest on his leg of the relay. He is really aiming for a medal, I think. He's alongside his teammate, Johnny Crickmore, who went one better than he did in Sweden to qualify for the semi-final. Thomas Krivda is a really strong runner, was towards the lead on the sprint relay. Adrian Delaine, 5th fastest on the second leg of his sprint relay, and maybe the favourite then for today's knockout sprint. He is the European champion in the knockout sprint. He is 5 times world champion. He is looking to add another gold to his tally. So this is quite a tough semi-final. They're all tough semi-finals. I'm going to say that for all of them. Let's just be honest. Who do you reckon? Who's your money on for this semi-final?
Well, for me, it would be a surprise if Kiburtz wouldn't go through. He looked very confident in the quarterfinal. He proved in Burgos that he is very strong in knockout sprint. He proved it at the European Champs. He is ready when there's a decision to take, usually. The runner, of course, Chris Jones, with good performance in the sprint relay. But also Jonathan Crickmore looked very good in the quarterfinal, and Adrian Delaine is a fast runner as well. So, I mean, it's so hard to say. As you mentioned before, it's only 2 runners going to the final, and it will be a tough one. You can see now there's a possibility to go to the left, or you can continue here straight ahead. Every one of them is going to the left. You will turn to the right at the next corner, and then into this backyard.
Yeah, they have to go around the house. The planners have basically created a massive maze, especially with putting all the barriers in place here. So there's a barrier just out of shot. You can pretty much just see some of the tape, and they have to go around.
We can also say that they moved the barriers between the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. So it's not always the same barriers they are facing. Here we can see the replay of this first section, and you can see the place where they turned into this backyard, and they will just after it turn back out again, punch this first control. And as we said in the beginning, it's not very decisive here. The first controls, they will stick together, and then the route choice to 4 might be the first possibility to split up there.
So Chris Jones is in the lead then, followed by Thomas Krivda, then Aaron Bacco as well. Matthias Kibbert's just sitting at the end, no dramas for him.
No, he was doing that in the quarterfinal as well. I think he feels very confident with his finish and wants to take his own decisions.
And then
now they're splitting up.
So Krivda
and now you can see how the speed changes here. Because as long as you're together, you don't have to run fast because everyone is together. But as soon as you split up and you don't see all of the runners, you have to go full speed.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. It felt like they were not full on the gas for those first few controls, but maybe they have to be now. As they make their way through this car park. Here you can see that the planners have made sure people don't park on this route, that you go straight through the car park. There's a control they might see again.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. But it looks like Chris Jones is still in the lead at this point, and they will sneak around some of these areas here and cross through. Yeah, that's fine to do that towards control number 4. Then a fairly easy one to number 5 and the run through, but really it's 6 to 7 that we're going to look at next. So Chris Jones has got a couple of meters then ahead of Adrian Delaine, Thomas Krivda, Crickmore there, Kibberts and Bacco really is off the back at this point, a couple of seconds back, just lost that pack.
And there is no route choice here towards control 5. It's just a very
narrow.
It's narrow and
you don't really expect it when you look in there. It's like there's some trees and suddenly it's a bit wooded, and as you can see here, it's kind of strange. You just kind of have to keep going, and that's what all the runners will be thinking. But it's very narrow. The control is just round this corner, and then we will see them through the run through. They are already in the arena. Here they go, and it is Chris Jones leading the way. Adrian Delaine next. Thomas Krivda in third, equal with Matthias Kibbert. Crickmore just off the pack. Bacco then in 6th place, 2 to go through.
The place where they turned the map, and now they have the second part, so they were not able to prepare this second part.
And they're really looking closely here at this one.
And now there's a route choice coming.
You should go back. They go back. So Jones leads the way, and they're going to go back through this little route that they've done so before. This is, we think, the quickest way, and looks like they've all done this. They seem to be a lot in control here, but then it's really hard to tell as they wind their way then through this courtyard. We're following this group with Chris Jones currently in the lead.
And now I think the fight for a good position will be starting very soon. I mean, there's control, you can still kind of be in the group and wait, but then at control 7 to 8, I think they will start to fight for this top positions in the group.
Yeah, the 7 to 8 is a fairly easy control, but it's become kind of characteristic in sprint orienteering now. You have a transportation control to set up another route choice.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you have an interesting route choice, sometimes you have to get there, and sometimes it's an easy control to get there, but then the next control is a difficult one, and of course as a runner you know that, and when you get an easy control you highly expect a tough route choice after it.
All right, so let's watch out for their route choice then into control number 9. I can't remember which is faster. I think they were all fairly even. They might actually all continue here. Well, Chris Jones continues. They all continue, and they will go back through this car park. They've been through here before, around the back of some of the buildings.
Now you can see that Kibbutz is speeding up here.
Yeah, he wants to get a good position. There he is. He's going to try and he's already overtaken the French athlete. He's going to try and be quite close to Jones here. And they all dip in.
Oh.
And is that a mistake? They go in one too early?
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And now we all change. So Jones in first. He is distinct here. Kibbert's in second, and they've maybe dropped the other two as we just lose picture with them. They go round the back of this building, and I'm sure we will pick them back up as they come out in the other direction.
Well,
and then number 9.
If this would have been planned by Kibbutz, it would be the perfect thing to get rid of the others. But, well, of course, it wasn't planned. It was just too early. You can see it on the map where he changed direction and went in.
And there's just a few little tricky bits and pieces in here, but it should be fairly simple, I think. There's Delaine. Jones is in the lead, then followed by Matthias Kibbert. Delaine is right on their heels, though, but it's looking good for, I think, the top two for Jones and for Kibbert. They make their way through, and the Brits and the Swiss are cheering, but Matthias Kibbert has to fight hard here against Adrian Delaine. He's really looking around. Chris Jones, Matthias Kibbert, he punches the air. Wasn't a given for him. He was chased right at the end by Adrian Delaine. Really fantastic effort for him, but Jones and Kibbert go through.
Very impressive run by Chris Jones. You could see that he had control all through this race and no hesitation, more or less. He was kind of in the lead, almost the whole course, and you could see the different tactics. He wanted to be in charge, he wanted to do the decisions. When you compare this to Kibbutz, he was behind, he was waiting until control 7, until control 8, and then when he saw, okay, everyone is going to this route choice, then he just speeded up and tried to get the second position. And I'm very sure that he got nervous when he noticed that he turned in too early there.
Oh, yes. That's where it was all decided. And I think from having talked to the course setter, talked to the planner, having run here, it actually looks like this group picked almost all the best route choices as well. You know, it is possible to pick the best route choices, including that very tricky one out of control number 6, which was a good decision. We were talking about it earlier when we were talking about the quarterfinals. People don't want to back out of a control. It's so alien and to look around for that route choice. So that was fantastic work from all of the guys here.
Yeah, it's not only that you don't want to do it, but it's so much harder to see if it's as far to run as a normal, I call it a normal route, where you just go to the left or to the right or continue the same direction, because you can have to double the distance you run back in your head, and that makes the calculation, like the geometrics, makes it much harder to see.
And this is the mistake there. So they nipped in this place where they had those first few controls.
And it shows you also how they think when they're running, because you can see that in their head they're preparing it, turn to the right after the building, then the next one to the left into the passage. And if you're not prepared that there's one coming before the one to the left, then you're just heading into, because I mean, if you look at the distance, it's such a big distance that should never happen, but they are so well prepared, so they're thinking that turn to the right and then to the left, and then they see the possibility to go to the left, and then they're going to the left, of course.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? And you've done some really intense minutes of orienteering. It's always the last few controls where things kind of start to fall apart. And this sprint finish, check this out. The absolute joy on the faces, the determination on the faces of Chris Jones and Matthias Kibbert to make it through there. And Delaine was so close.
And when you see this, you can really feel that it's not, I mean, they are not sure from the beginning that they would make it through. Everything can happen, and it's quite a big relief when they notice that, okay, now I'm through to the final.
It's a nervy moment, once you get through to the final, half of them get medals, but getting through to the final is not easy, especially when there's only 2 who make it through, and when you can never really plan too much for a knockout sprint. We've still not had many. Still, the tactics are kind of working themselves out. We haven't had a super slow one yet with an absolute burn up at the finish. We're going to really wait and see if that happens. Okay, we'll move on then to semi-final number 2, and this one is maybe a little bit more open. Wojciech Kral, what impressed me was his sprint finish. He managed to catch up a couple of places just on the run-in. Fantastic work. Martin Hugman from Switzerland, he tended to stay at the back, but he was really, really clever and solid in his orienteering. Loic Capburn there, really strong qualification, really strong French men running the sprints at the moment. It's great to see for them. From Norway, part of the new crop of young Norwegian sprint specialists that we really haven't really starting to see from nations like Norway and from Finland. Mika Kimela then here as well. Tends to be better in the forest than the sprint, but he's made it through here. And Jonathan Gustafsson is running his first ever World Championships, but he really knew how to perform well in the quarterfinal. He really made the right route choice decisions when it mattered, and he was in one that really split up and came back together. So will it be the same characteristics for a knockout sprint semi-final? I love the knockout sprint. It's just completely different from whatever 6 athletes you have together. You'll never have the same set of athletes twice, and you'll never have the same race characteristics twice. It means really anything can happen with the tactics, with the orienteering, with the speed and the accuracy as well. So these 6 line up to make it through to the final. They are off. One is down already. Loic Capburn, I think that was. Taking a tumble there, but he managed to style it out well, and it looks like it is Wojciech Kral and Jonathan Gustafsson who head to the front. Gustafsson we saw at the front quite a lot in the quarterfinal. You can tell that's how he wants to do his orienteering, but Wojciech Kral actually we saw in the middle of the pack, so he's now being decisive here. He says, I've got to take this. Really control of this one. Oh, Loic Capburn just tripping over his own feet there, looking at his map so intently. Okay, let's see how they get on. They've all taken that first left-hand turn. I think we'll see the same route choices the one we saw earlier.
And you mentioned it before. I think it's an interesting heat because there are a few runners here not interested in a slow race, and I'm talking mostly about Gustafsson. He has such a high speed running, so for him the best thing is to grill the others by just running fast and fast and fast throughout the whole course, try to make them tired so that he can really play his card in the last meters.
But maybe that's where we'll see some mistakes come into it. We didn't really see too many mistakes, I think, comparatively in the first semi-final, but we will see now here. It is still Czech Republic and Wojciech Kral in the commanding position here. They've got a control that's literally just out of sight, and then they will come to this next control again just at the foot of these stairs. For me, you can just see the pace drop as they make their decisions.
No one wants to make a decision here.
They knew the direction of exit, but not the whole way. And Gustafsson takes the lead here, just overtakes Wojciech Kral. And it's so hard to get a sense of the way that the pace lifts and drops throughout this whole race.
Now I think that Gustafsson is lifting the pace again, but before it was very low pace, low speed.
And for me, this is not the quickest route. They'll go through the house here, but they're familiar with this way.
It's still an okay option.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter because they're all going the same way.
Of course. It's also interesting to see that it seems to be kind of a tactic of the Swiss men to just stay a little bit behind in the beginning. Maybe they talk through it as a team and try to focus on the last route choice or try to focus on the finish of the heat, because we have seen that in the quarterfinal for both Hofmann and Kiburtz. We saw it now in the semi-final again for both Hofmann and Kiburtz. But I mean, this is kind of risky. Now Hofmann is 5 meters behind, maybe. Of course, he shouldn't let the gap go open too much.
Yeah, my thought is he's just a couple of meters off the back, and I am also worried about him going to lose the section.
It will always,
it's going to bunch up, isn't it? It's going to bunch up. They spread out when they go faster. They bunch up when they go slower, and he can just get.
And I mean what makes you really tired is this.
He really needs to just keep his cool, keep his calm, and orienteer well. So Lurk Capburn out in the front, Jonathan Gustafsson in second, Wojciech Kral in third. A reminder, 2 to go through to the semi-final, and this is one, I think, where we could maybe see some surprises come from. It's really hard to tell. And they've all slowed. They've all absolutely slowed down here as they read their maps and make their decisions to which way they go.
It's a very important route choice waiting now. They not backing out. None of them
will go the same way. I think Wojciech Kral seemed to be one of those ones in the front there making that decision.
This is actually the way to the last control then. You see it in the left of the picture. So they will get through here again. In this part where we have seen Ida Bubak in the opening scene running.
They have to go to this. There's a really small gap in the hedge that they are allowed to go through. There it is. And they actually continue around to go around this building, and we will see them coming around the other side. So Wojciech Kral then still in the lead. Mika Kirmala, Lurk Capburn, Jonathan Gustafsson.
Now my feeling is there is a small gap there. Hoopman is losing a few meters.
But these 5, you can see a surge, I think, from one of those in the back. That is a surge from Eidsmo, I think, there. He has gone from the back to the front, and they've all had to pick up the pace here to see if they can match him, because he has started the run from home here. He has maybe looked really far ahead, and he's trying to run all the other guys away. You could just see the way from that drone shot, the way he was able to slingshot himself through into the front. And this is going to be a tear up here. There's still quite a few meters to go.
And it was exactly the same moment as in the first semi-final. We've seen that they're accelerating. We see also that Hoopman chose a different route there. Will be interesting to see if he can win with it. But I think it was more a desperate move by him to just choose anything else than the others.
Okay, so we wait now on the little curved track on the way to control number 9. Which way will they go?
Here. He's not coming this direction, so he's still Eidsmo.
Still the Norwegian, then Gustafsson, then Kral as well. And it's going to be a burn up really here. They've got to go to the other side of this building. And there's still 5 guys really close. Oh, the Norwegian is getting torn off and just ending the wrong side. This is going to be so close. They really fight here. The top 2 go through. Gustafsson is there. Is the Norwegian there? He's being torn, taken down. This might be a photo finish. I think, oh God, I don't even know. I think it was Kirmala. It was whoever was the furthest away. I think managed to get that. We need to see a replay.
It was
Capburn. It was not Eidsmo, I think.
I hope no one got injured here. It was not Hoopman, I can tell you.
Okay, well, Gustafsson, I think, is clear.
Eidsmo, he doesn't look to be one of the top 2. You can see that there's some...
Oh, no. He is that attack of pace from the Norwegian. And then he would have got it if he hadn't gone the wrong way around in that little playground. Oh gosh, there's a bit of hobbling here. Okay, I want to see this replay and see who managed to make it through, because I am not certain. It wasn't that man, it wasn't Martin Hubman.
I think it is on our screen from the results. Let's see here, we have Kirmala, but it might be the same results as we see here on the screen.
Okay, let's have a look at the GPS tracking though, whilst we wait for that result to be confirmed. Such a tight semi-final, and really we could see Wojciech Kral taking the initiative, taking control of this race early on. Not super high pace, I could see, and
especially not in this part of the race here. We could see it when they left from control 3 here. There was no high speed. Everyone's sticking together here.
But it's also a little bit down slow.
Yeah, he could be there, but then just falling into the back here.
And now we, in the result list I get here, I have Loïc Capper now in the second position. So I think this might be the result of the photo finish.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have it confirmed on screen very, very shortly. They're really trying to throw the runners off here with a mixture of slightly easier controls like this 1 to 5, then a slightly harder one. Really that route choice, and that's why maybe there's no forking on this course at all.
And you can see here that it's a different route choice compared to the heat we've seen before. Slightly longer distance to run. And then here you can see that Hoopman is a few meters behind.
And you can see them pick up the pace.
Exactly, accelerating out from control 8. And then in the very end, maybe not visible here, but there was a small mistake there by 8 Smooth, running kind of the wrong way of this.
Oh, look as they come round. This is the last control. And it looked like the Norwegian punches it first, Capburn in second. I think it's Loïc Capburn who has run himself into the knockout sprint final. You can see Eitsmo looking left, looking right to see what he's able to do. There's a lunge for the line. Oh, we hardly ever see a dip for the line in orienteering. Wojtek Kral is out of it. Gustafsson is in there solidly.
But you could see Eitsmo's reaction after the race, and I think he was quite aware of that he wasn't the second one in the finish, and you have it confirmed here. Loïc Capper with a great finish into this final here at the World Championships.
So we have 4 different nations into the final already. Matthias Kiberts of Switzerland, Chris Jones of Great Britain, Jonathan Gustafsson of Sweden, and Loïc Capburn of France. We now head to semi-final number 3. Riccardo Scalette for Italy managed to make it through, and this was a tale of 2 halves, I think. The first 3 guys came through a much easier qualification, I would guess. August Mollén, you need to remember, he got a medal in the World Cup in the knockout sprint. Tim Robertson is incredibly up for this. He's already got 2 silver medals in the World Cup this year. Aston Key, 2 talented young Australian. He won the Junior World Champ sprint when it was here 3 years ago, and Ralph Streep is ready for some absolute mayhem on this semi-final, and this is going to be really tight. For me, there are 4 top guys here.
Keep an eye on Aston Key. He was very good throughout the whole week in the qualification, in the sprint relay, in the quarterfinal.
Aston Key is one of those I'm going to name in the top 4. Mollén is down as well. What is up with that place? And he is way back now. He has to work hard, but he looks in a bit of pain, I think, there.
Yeah, he was not very quick up again.
No, not like Loïc Capburn, who ended up making it through.
Yeah.
Will August Mollén make it through as well, but 6 have gone to 5.
They have to check the carpet there or something. I think it was the same starting position.
Oh, it looks like he got his foot caught underneath the carpet. It's hard to see from that angle. Anyway, you can see there he is working really hard to try and catch up this pack of 5, and he is nearly on it, but he's going to expend a lot of energy doing so as they head into control number 1. I think they will go the same way as the last semi-final, because they were both in the same start gate and they both tripped and fell in the same place.
That's why I tried to look out the window to see if they are fixing it or if they're changing anything, but it doesn't look
like it at all.
No.
Okay, looks like Tim Robertson has hit the front. I think the Italians up there as well. Riccardo Scalette, bronze medal in the World Cup final in the middle distance. Home soil for him in Italy, so he has got some good form, not the consistency though of other nations. Here is Tim Robertson in the lead. Aston Key in second alongside Riccardo Scalette. It doesn't look for me like they're going super quick pace, and now that's maybe why August Mollén has been able to catch up.
Yeah, it's good for him. It's maybe good for the competition as well, that he gets a chance to get back here.
and they all turn around at this point.
It's no need for any risk that early in the race. All of them, they know that they can be good in the end of the race as well. So it's too early to go differently here.
But still, Tim Robertson taking control, kind of like how we saw Wojtek Kral took control, Josh Jones in the front as well, really active in the orienteering, and they've really got to try and balance what they're doing. The Norwegian Erik Langedal Breivik is in there too. And
see that Molén doesn't seem to be injured, it's just able to pass Breivik. Here you can see much more of this, looking for a good position in the group in this heat compared to the other ones.
Okay, here they are on their way to control number 4. Fairly easy stuff so far for this group of 6. Just keeping it within their orienteering ability, but I'm sure this pace is going to ramp up very shortly. So there's a group of 6 within 3 seconds. This is they pass through this eating place now, and they've got to go fairly easy control to number 5. We'll follow them through all these little alleyways going between this very square, very angular city, and then we'll soon see them in the arena passage as well.
Maybe you can start to look at what point they start to turn the map here, because if you're very cool, you can start doing it here, and you feel confident that you can follow the others to the control. Now they change it. Robertson start to see the route choice to control 7. Not very much work with the map by Ralph Street there. Maybe that's the advantage of running the last position. You can just more choose a runner than a route choice follow. My guess is that they will all go the same way. Yes, indeed.
So yeah, they all go the same way to control number 7. There was an opportunity to gain some time on this one. This does allow them to have a little look through at the area by control 9 though as well. Be familiar with that one.
For me, it will be interesting. I think it will be interesting to see at what point Ralph Street will get more active in this competition, because usually he's one of the more active guys in the group, but here he seems to have a different kind of
I wonder if the pace has just picked up now. I think Tim Robertson has actually just picked up the pace, and you could see you've got to be in a good position to respond, and maybe being at the back is not that best position to do that. They go through this between these houses. It's where we've seen Ida Bovak run in the course presentation, and then they will go round the house again before we see them at the next control. But they're still all close together. Only 2 of these guys are going to make it through to the final. Tim Robertson is doing everything he can. Looks Molén up there as well. And now maybe this is the opportunity where you've got to be positioning yourself in the pack. Are you going to take a risk doing a different route choice here? Are they going to stay in the same way?
It seems as if there is a gap between Scalet and the 4th runner. Let's see here. Maybe we get a better glimpse at it. Robertson backing out. Molén as well. We won't see if all of them are going the same route.
Yeah, they do. They all go the same route.
Yes, it is. And here you can see this small gap.
Wall Street now he move himself up there in the pack in 3rd place. Breivik in 4th. Key in 5th. He's got such a fast finish, and he's going to want to get ahead of everyone. Oh, crash through this hedge here, and now it's really, really all to play for. They're going to be, this is where orienteering gets into more of a contact sport, and we wait at the next control.
From this position, they all know it's all about the running. It's no other route choice to take. They have decided to go the same route, all of them, and now it's just the fastest one to the finish, the fastest 2 to the finish, going to the final.
Here they are, they're coming through now. Who is in the lead? It is Tim Robertson, August Mullane in second, Ralph
And you
Street
can
in
see
there.
Street here.
And Dick trying to go through. So the top three are clear, but only two go through. Street has just got ahead of Mullane. That's really decisive in this point. And who's going to make it through then? The top two only to make it through. This is a real sprint out here. And elbows are out, but it looks like the Brit's going to miss out, I think. He does. Mullane goes through in the first place, Robertson in second, and I think Street just misses out. So Tim Robertson, August Mullane, second and third in Baros, and 1 month ago in the sprint relay. I think those are the ones who've made it through.
And to be honest, I was very concerned about Mullane there after the start, because he was laying down for a long time until he got up on his feet again.
Goodness me. Goodness me.
And you can see it was very smart towards the second last control by Ralph Street again, but you could feel throughout the course that it will be very, very tough for him physically to be there and beat the others.
That was incredibly close once again. Let's have another look then at the GPS tracking. It's again one where they've really stuck together, and it's been all about playing for the positions and where you are in the pack for me.
And you can see, I mean, in this group it was different compared to the other ones when we saw the group accelerating at control 8 out like on the very last route to control 9. Here you get the feeling that already towards control 7 Tim Robertson kind of tried to level it up a little bit, but then they slowed down a bit again, and then on the very end, just before control 9, they tried to decide this semi-final.
And Tim Robertson is such an athlete. He makes it look so easy. The speed that he's going, he's in really good shape right now. We remember last year's World Championships, he hadn't had that good a winter and a spring into it, and was very surprised to get a bronze medal in the individual sprint. And he is so full of confidence, the fact that he knows he's had a good winter, a good spring, he's in really good shape. Aston Key tries to go a different way. He thinks that's the only way he's going to be able to make it. Unfortunately, doesn't pay off for the Aussie. And this was the last part here. This is the last part of the sprint. See how wide Tim Robertson goes. At this point, it's all about the sprint finish. The young August Mullane making it ahead of the Brits. All three working incredibly hard to make it through to the line there. Mullane with the fastest sprint finish. So incredible stuff, incredible stuff. And theirs was the second fastest semi-final. Chris Jones with the fastest one there. Him and Matthias Kuberts pitching themselves against each other. Such a quick route. They did take some really good route choices though, so I think that really shows it. Okay, those are the ones who make it through. We will switch our focus now then to the women's semi-finals. The 3 ones here. Control 1 is different, but then from control 2 it's the same.
Yeah, you can see control 2 was control 3 in the men's race. So we have the same route choice to control 3 and then control 4 again, arena passage. We've seen many different route choices here. 5 to 6, where we have seen the first semi-final backing out from the control. I think it's the slightly faster option. Then 7, 8. We have seen different options here as well. First semi-final and second one going to the left, the third one going to the right again. So there are different options. What we haven't seen is really they splitting up. We have seen different route choices by the different groups, but not the groups like splitting up. And I think it's a bit due to the fact that it's too complex. It's so hard to see what's faster, and if you don't have to risk anything, you don't want to risk it.
So we'll look at the lineup then for the first semi-final. Victoria Heystad-Bjornstad was fantastic form to be able to make it through there. Simona Abersold is ready and pumped to go. She a favourite for the medal. Teresiana Shikova just edged into this semi-final. And Anna Isabel Toledo not a name we see very often. It's great to see a Spaniard qualified, and in fact in this quarterfinal there's going to be two nations we don't see often. Zuzana Kovachova from Slovakia is also managed to make it through here. Really impressive stuff. And of course, the favourite, 16-time world champion, Tove Alexandersen. Of course, she is going to be the big favourite. So who can make it in after her? But Tove Alexandersen is not invincible. She may well make a mistake, and the others will want to capitalise on this. So will it be Tove Alexandersen and one other to make it through then from this semi-final? Oh, and again, someone is down there. They really need to do something about that carpet.
And I think the most interesting thing will be to see how Tove Alexandersen will tackle this semi-final here, because will she decide to be a bit more passive here to maybe save some energy, or will she go up in the lead and try to do her race and kind of get away early as she did in the quarterfinal? You see them now. Of course, it's not the same first control as in the men's race, so now it's a very, very easy control to the first control here, then also quite a simple one to the second control. There's no route choice at all, and of course it's mostly a way to get to this route choice here to the third control.
Yeah, they have a few meters out even to the start control before they figure out where they're all going to go, and they can figure out this route choice here, but they are very close together.
You can see that they all gather together behind Tove Alexandersen.
It's been done before. So Alexandersen in control, Abersol in second, Victoria Hestad Bjornstad in third. As we might expect, I think, then, on this stage of the race. It's a good route through here to the third control.
It is, and you can see the maybe biggest two favorites in the lead here, Tove Alexandersen and Simona Abersol, but it will be tight. Janosika was strong in the quarterfinal. Also Victoria Hestad Björnstad, who had some own decisions there, especially in the beginning of the quarterfinal. Of course, this gives her a good feedback that she can win a few meters also when she is taking her own decisions, and you can also see that it's already a gap there from position 3 to 4, and a bit surprising to me that it is Janosikova a bit behind.
Yeah, I would expect her to be able to hang on to the tails of Hestad Bjornstad, but not in this case. At the moment it's still Alexandersen in the lead.
Now I can actually see that they are trying to fix something there at the start, so hopefully in the future we won't see anything.
Yeah, that's quite dangerous, I think, so I'm glad they're doing something about that. So an easy one through here, but they do already start to spread out there always tends to be a bit more time between the women's legs, so they are really spreading out here, and we'll soon see them at this arena passage. Alexandersen, as we might expect, in control. Here she is. She's already through to this arena passage. She'll do the map flip. Alexandersen, Abersol there too, and you can see them turn all their maps over as well. Janosikova is fighting hard to try and keep eye contact, keep her eyes on the runners ahead.
And my guess is that they will be together soon again, because maybe they will do some hesitating here towards the control. That opens up the chance again to close the gap behind.
Alexandersen looking so closely at her map, seeing what she can see, and I wonder which direction they go.
They're not going back out from the control.
No.
Not enough hesitation for the group behind to get in contact again.
No, it's so against your instincts to want to go back and round the route, especially the one you've just already gone through. You think, no, surely the planners can't be thinking of that. And it doesn't matter, they all head the same way. And Victoria Hestad Bjornstad goes a different way, but I don't think it's going to be good. She actually goes slightly further. You can cut the corner by going down. It
doesn't matter so much, but it's maybe 2-3 seconds slower, I guess.
These are the two in the lead though, and Alexandersen is just ahead of this whole group. pulling away, and I'm really interested to see where third place is now with Victoria Hestad Bjornstad.
Where are they?
I don't know if they're reading to 7.
Something strange there at least. Yes, they're reading to 7. Must be this.
I think they're going behind that building in the backyard where we've seen before. So this one might be quite an easy one for Alexanderson and for Abersold here.
Yeah, they might be able to save some energy even.
But they won't know that. They won't know the others they may think the others have taken a better route choice, but they are still yet to come through to this control here. My gut is that they
they're
read
reading
to
to
the
7
wrong control.
there. Yeah, now they see each other. It'll be interesting to see if they will follow towards control 8 or if they noticed that they've done a mistake here.
But Toledo also realised the right way, so that was incredible stuff from her. No, they do realise they've still got to go to control number 6, and this is the race done for me. What a mistake there. Oh.
No, not Hestad
Did Hestad Bjornstad punch that control? I think she must have. Oh, Alexanderson is down. But she's got a gap over. Here we go.
Okay, this has become a bit messy. Let's see if... I don't think that Hestad Bjornstad has noticed that she will go back to control 5, I guess. Now.
And Kovachova hasn't...
I think that Hestad Bjornstad now is reading towards control 5. Because she came to 7 first and then to 6. But we will see. It's a mess here, but it seems quite...
It's quite clear for the top 2. I think it's a mess everywhere behind, but it is quite clear for the top 2. I don't know what is going on. Here's Alexanderson, making it look so easy. She does time after time. I'd say she's more comfortable in the forest, but she has made the sprint her own. She has done so much preparation for this, and she is in fantastic shape. Abersold hasn't quite had the winter and spring she desired. It's one full of injuries, and Alexanderson looks back over her shoulder. It is not even close here. She can save a little bit of energy and make her way comfortably then to qualify for the final. Alongside Simone Abersold, comfortable as well, and goodness me, I don't know if we're going to map up the absolute mess that was behind them. People taking controls in all sorts of wrong orders, and this just, I mean, it just shows you how good these two are. The others can qualify for the semi-final, and they're still making a complete pig's ear of which controls they're going to in which order.
Might be one of the clearest decisions in history of knockout sprint for the final here. Runner from Spain, Toledo.
She managed to make the right choices there and is rewarded with a 3rd place. Janishikova in 4th. Tough one for her, not happy, not so surprised. She felt like she could have been in with a chance. Here's Kovachova, Slovakian, and we will wait, I think, maybe to see if we can see Victoria Hestad Bjornstad. No, we won't. We will go and have a look then at the GPS tracking for this semi-final number 1.
And Alexanderson, she answered my question in the beginning, whether she was maybe a bit more passive in this race or not. I mean, she wasn't. She was very active here as well, taking the lead from the start. And yeah, I mean, the gap was just growing and growing with every meter. Of course, you could also feel that Abersold noticed that she doesn't have to push too hard here. I think they noticed quite early on this second loop that there's no big risk to lose it here. And here at this point it will be interesting. I think they suddenly start to read towards control 7 because they cross the line, the red line, from 8 to 7, and then they start to follow the line instead of the control. And let's see, Mr. Björnsson, my guess is that she was at control 6 and thought that she has to run to control 5, so that And then there she's noticing and turning and will go to 7 again and then 6. No, to 6 and then 7. It's even a mess in my head.
Anything can happen on a knockout sprint, and it's so hard to kind of put into words what the quality of orienteering is here and just how quickly they're going, and all the decisions, all the information they have to pick up from the map so quickly, all the decisions they have to make while staying on their feet and trying to make it through to the final. Tove Alexandersson's done just that. Simona Abersold has done just that. A pretty easy thing in the end, and actually Victoria Hestad Bjornstad is just crossing the line now. Such was that mistake. She gets a round of applause from the crowd here, but it was all about Tove Alexandersson doing a very familiar performance on this semi-final and just taking it out from the lead, taking control. Abersold very happy to get that other final spot. So we move on then very shortly to the semi-final number 2. The Danish flags are out because it's the only Dane who's managed to make it into the semi-final is up in this next one. Everybody's very excited. We will run through the lineup. Yves van Dongen from the Netherlands, such an up-and-coming sprinter. She has really managed to impress. She was 16th at last year's sprint at WOC. Venla Hayu has loads of top 10s from sprint WOC. She's such a solid athlete. Andrina Benjaminsen, bronze at the European knockout in Neuchâtel in Switzerland. She is there. There'll be a big round of applause here for Malin Egan-Christensen. She is the junior world sprint champion from Turkey in 2021. It's her first ever senior world championships, and Ursula Fesselhofer will complete, no, not quite yet, complete the lineup. I've forgotten one. Really strong and experienced sprinter, and Megan Carter-Davis is the one who completes the lineup here after a silver in the knockout sprint in Varos. She is going to be full of confidence. She really took control of her quarterfinal.
Let's hope that they were able to fix this start section now, or at least hint the runners that they shouldn't go straight ahead there. But I expect this heat to be much closer than the first one. I mean, here we don't have this very, very big favorite. Everything went okay here. I mean, we have Andrine Benjaminsen, maybe and Megan Carter-Davis, the two favorites, but behind we also have other runners.
I think is in a good position to do something.
Yves van Dongen has shown many times that she, especially in Sweden, that she is able to challenge the others physically in the end of a course. So I expect it to be tighter here, at least. Okay, that's not a hard guess compared to the first heat, but it can be quite a tight semi-final heat, this one.
All right, pretty easy first control. You can see it just there, and they make their way to that. It's hard to pick out who is leading at this point. They're moving pretty quickly through towards control number 2, but we'll pick them up very shortly. Megan Carter-Davis then leading. She's got to go down there. She's picking the right route. Benjaminsen just pushed back a little bit, and Hayu manages to take second spot. So there they go, punching control number 2, and she will go back out the other way. Okay.
We haven't seen that before. It's actually okay, either go out there or the other way around if you go this middle section, but I think the fastest one is to go all the way to the south. So now my guess is that they will go into this S section where we have seen Ida Bobak running in the very beginning, so it's south here.
But what I saw from Carter-Davis is she'd already decided that, and she was able to get a few meters ahead of everybody else. I mean, that's what she likes to do.
If you're enough confident and you show that to the others, then they will follow, and it won't matter anyway what you're doing.
It really won't. And Carter-Davis has got a couple of meters. Andrina Benjaminsen slots back into second place. Venla Hayu in third. Yves van Dongen into fourth, and they do head through this section here that we've seen Ida Bobak run through. Call it the Ida Bobak route. And again, they've got to go through this hedge here. It's looking pretty good, and a fairly easy one to control number 4. And they're all still All 6 women still with it, still matching each other, with Carter Davis taking control as she likes to do.
One indicator that the speed is quite high is that there is 2 or 3 meters between every runner. It's quite a long line of runners here. Shows you that the speed Megan Carter Davis is running is quite good here. As you mentioned before, she's very confident. She seems to have control all the way here in this first section, in this first loop.
And she's figured out how she wants to run knockout sprints, which is hit the front. So they'll come through the arena very, very shortly. There's a lot of the crowd standing up and applauding this group of women as they head through. Megan Carter Davis first. You can see she's looking really closely at this route choice after the arena passage. And Carter Davis in control. The Danish crowd are going to cheer on their athlete Malin Egevik Christiansen, and they all read the route really carefully now. You can see Megan Carter Davis there, and I think some of the ones in the back will literally just follow whatever she decides to do. So we'll have a look. Do they turn around? Do they go through the little passageway on the right? They turn around. Looking good. Good route choice then. Does seem to be the quickest one, as identified by Megan Carter Davis. And I think Chris Jones took that one as well in the men's semi-finals. So they go through again this little courtyard. Quite a few trees and things in here, and it's very, very narrow. But then it gives a fairly easy route into the control itself as well. And then maybe they'll start to look ahead to control number 9. It's really going to be a tricky one here, and they are strung out, but everybody going the same way.
Now the runners in the back, they have to be careful that there isn't a gap opening. You can see that it's a difference from the second runner, Benjaminsen, to the Ifan Ongren.
Okay, looks like Carter Davis still just manages to stay ahead of Benjaminsen. Those two looking the most dangerous now. And Carter Davis, you can see how closely she's looking at the next couple of controls. Really, really working hard here, all of them, to stay with this group. Christiansen just dropping back behind Fesselhofer. And now Ifan Dongen seems to kind of have caught up a little bit on the two front. So these 3 looking really solid.
I get the feeling that when if nothing happens here,
ooh, they turn around.
The 3 in the top have a good chance to take it, or at least 2 of them, because it seems that they are physically a little bit stronger than the rest of the pack.
But Ifan Dongen is dangerous. She's a really strong runner. She's shown that in Scandinavia, and they've just nipped through the gap in the hedge here. They've been there before.
Oh,
Benjaminsen keeps
splitting
going.
Up. Now it's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, you do need to continue. I wonder if there was some hesitation seconds there. We'll see what happens as they make their way through now. I think Carter Davis still in it. Van Dongen is there as well. I think it's looking good. Maybe good for Carter Davis and Ifan Dongen here, but Fesselhofer and Christiansen are both hot on their heels.
Yeah, I think we have seen that in the semi-final of the men, that it was a little bit faster to go there. So it looks good for Van Dongen and Megan Carter Davis. But I don't think that the runners behind will have a chance to catch up again with those two.
Here they go. Here's Carter Davis. Here's Ifan Dongen. They've got to be really distinct on this section, but they have a little gap. Ursula Fesselhofer is there, ready to pounce if necessary. You can see just how they're looking ahead. But Carter Davis looks like she's got it. She should see the control by now. There we go. And the last few meters are still 3 are going to turn into 2. So here we go then. The last 3 here. They punch the control, and now is a sprint for the line. Carter Davis looks like she's got it. She's looking up at the big screen. But Fesselhofer is running quick. She's had to up her pace here. Carter Davis will still make it through in the lead, followed by Ifan Dongen of the Netherlands. Incredible running there, and they managed to get it right when it mattered, because they made that correct route choice where we saw Benjaminsen and the others make a mistake.
You could really see Benjaminsen's surprise when she noticed that the others are going a different way, and you could even see some hesitating and thinking, should she change her tactics as well, her decision, or should she go on with the route she planned, and I think it would have been a good thing in this case to change her mind and go on this route choice she had planned initially.
Okay, so Megan Carter-Davies, Eve van Dongen managed to make it through, and we have one last semi-final to go. We'll have a look though at the route choice again. Not always the best, well, a mixture of some of the best and some of fewer routes. But again, they're so sticking together on this.
And maybe the biggest surprise so far this World Championships, this final qualification for the final from the Netherlands from Eve van Dongen. I don't know if it ever happened that we had a runner from the Netherlands that high up in the result list.
No, she's the only one from the Netherlands here this whole week at WOC. So really managed to, you know, this is what I love about the sprint. You can be from a nation where orienteering is maybe, you know, not as inbuilt into culture and society, and not very many people do it, and you can work really hard, and you don't need that experience of having like lived somewhere for many years to get that experience in the forest that you need to, and it just opens it up for loads of different countries.
And you can see here something we have been talking about. Megan Carter-Davies in the lead almost the whole course, then a good decision here, backing out from control 5 to 6. The very interesting part then in the very end that from control 7 to 8, you will see it soon. It would almost be interesting to see the live pictures again with the decisive moment when Megan Carter-Davies just at the point between control 6 and 5, you can see the little opening there in the bush where they turned in again. First here, the point where you could feel that the three of them, Benjaminsen, Carter-Davies and van Dongen, they seem to have a slightly higher pace than the others. But in the end, I mean, Vesselhofer came quite close again, and she had a good run throughout the whole course. And this here is the very decisive moment when they turn to the left, and Benjaminsen continued together with Harju. As I said, it would have been... Oh, and then they are going back again there. Yes, indeed, of course, that's a longer way. It would have been another option also to pass in east of control 5 again, but I don't think that would have helped them anyway, so...
It was pretty close then in the end, and Carter-Davies and van Dongen making it in. Yeah, really great last charge from Vesselhofer. She was quite a long way behind. You know, she was fourth in that, or even fifth in that group, and she managed to just get us some meters here and there in that last control to manage to make it through. Okay, so confirmation: Megan Carter-Davies, Eve van Dongen into the final then. So we've still got 4 different nations already making it through inside. I think there's 5 different nations in the men's, but we wait and see for this last semi-final. Alexandra Hornik then from Poland. She was 7th in the WOC sprint last year in the Czech Republic. Charlotte Ward is looking dangerous at the moment. She had her first ever top 10 in Baros a month ago, ran really well on the first leg of the sprint relay. Lena Strand, though, is looking fantastic at the moment. She is in fantastic shape. Just so her relay running and managing to pull ahead of Abasol was fantastic. Katarina Jema, maybe a little surprise, I think, into this semi-final, but well-deserved. Sarah Hagström made some mistakes in her quarter-final, but she showed the speed that she had to manage to catch it up. And Elena Roos as well, such a strong runner from Switzerland, managed to take her first ever actual Swiss sprint title this year, which is quite a surprise. She's such a strong sprinter, but she's got such great competition in Switzerland itself, so managed to take that. Okay, this is the last semi-final, and 2 will go through. This is going to be quite tight, I think, as well. You particularly look at the likes of Lena Strand, Sarah Hagström. Oh, look, you see Sarah Hagström looking at the other side of her map. That's a very interesting tactic. Haven't seen that one before. And someone,
Sure
this is the Ukrainian, has gone off the lead.
I'm sure she wants to figure out if there is any forking coming throughout the course. But for me here, as you mentioned, there are two runners with great shape. Lina Strand showed it in the beginning of the week already at the sprint relay. Charlotte Ward, she showed it in Borås, and also this week already that she's in great shape. Then we have Katarina Sema, maybe the big surprise, and look at this start here.
She's gone out the front, out of the lead. She knows that's the way that she's going to have to win this, and credit to her. That's pretty incredible.
It's one thing to show in the qualification and in the quarterfinal that you're going for it, but I mean, take in mind the preparation she had for this World Championships. It can't get any tougher than for the Ukrainian team, and that makes it even more valuable here. And then we have Elina Roos and Sarah Hagström, both very good and experienced runners as well. It's a very interesting heat, this third one.
But she was unsurprisingly, running that far off the front, was not prepared for the next route choice control
maybe
number
also
3.
a bit unexperienced. Because she opened very hard, and maybe she thought that's the pace I have to run in the semi-final. She's going her own way there. It's always nice to see. Let's see if it will pay off.
Well, this one looked to be the better route choice, I think,
think so too.
What the course planners seem to think, and the others will go back around. So Ward, Jema will go around here, and they will take the route through where we saw Ida Bobak run, and I think they will lose quite a few seconds from this route choice here. But we will see
because from here they will still have to run this. Where are they going? They go all the way
I wonder
around.
if they go all the way around. That's pretty much the end of their race, I would say. Elina Roos, though, is in control, in the lead. Sarah Hagström in second. Lina Strand, the tall figure of Lina Strand, in third. And Alexandra Hornick has dropped off the back here. And I wonder if we'll see the others coming from the other direction eventually. But this is going to be too big a gap. And Elina Roos has really put her foot down, and she has really gone quick out of the control there. There are the chasers, though, and that is not a good route choice for them. They've taken the risk, and it's not paid off.
I mean, they can still hope for a bad decision from the leading group here later on in the course, but now they have to take the right route choice in every single control to be able to get back into this competition.
Alexandra Hornick basically stops there. Oh, a mistake there from Elina Roos, who overshoots that passageway, or maybe doesn't see it on the map, maybe thinks she has to go around, maybe doesn't expect such an easy control, this control number 4. Mistakes are being made, you said it. And there's opportunity to take a good, decisive route choice out of control number 5 as well. It's always worth fighting for. Sarah Hagström, though, in control here. She's in the lead. Lina Strand in second place. Elina Roos in third place after the mistake. Hornick, just a few mistakes there, and they're trying to catch up. Charlotte Ward and Katarina Jema. We'll see what they're able to do. Will they choose a different route choice here into control 5 to 6? You can see Sarah Hagström just trying to look at all the options. She looks right to the passage there, and maybe this allows the others to just kind of catch up. Some of them go the other way. Strand and Roos, is that the way you want to go? What will the chasers do? No, they will go the other way. So Strand and Roos have taken the better route choice. I think this looks good for them to go through then to this final. We will see. There's still a lot of orienteering to go. Still a good few minutes left. And we will see what happens. But I'm not sure we've had these two tested head-to-head like this. These two different route choices.
Oh, it's interesting that they split up so much in this.
It's pretty much the only semi-final they split up.
You can see they split up even on the route choice there. Hagström going the more edgy way, maybe. Then again, they have to run this passage there where they have been before, and you can see here that it was clearly faster to go the way Strand and Roos were running.
Elina Roos, Lina Strand, really great decision making, route choice decisions. Here is Alexandra Hornick. Will she be in third? She's running quickly, but it's too much. Looks like Charlotte Wars managed to catch up into fourth, but there is a long way back. 8 seconds is a long way in sprint orienteering, but we've still got a route choice though from 7 to 8. And they go straight on. I think that's good for the leaders.
And of course, I mean, there is no need for Strand to take another route there. Oh, now they're doing a mistake.
Now they're doing a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Now
Yeah,
they're
they've
doing a
realised.
mistake.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
a chance
Everything
again
changes
for
now
Ward.
again. Goodness me.
Hagström and maybe
What
Hornig.
happens? Ward is there. So 3 up there, 4 up there. Sarah Hagström is there. So what looked like to be a leading group of 2 is now a leading group of 4. Everything happening here, and now they're really going to be working hard on this last couple of controls. There's a group of 4 here. We can see that Gemma and Hornig are off the back, but they've gone a different route choice through, but this group of 4 will be cut to 2.
But let's see here if how Hornig compared to the others will end up here. Maybe see it from this drone. There she is. There she is, and this looks really good for Hornig now.
Very good
She
for
has
Hornig.
about 20-30 meters of an advantage. Then behind there's Elena Roos, and I mean this is a totally different situation now, because now it's either Strand or Roos or Hagström, and we can see that they already started to fight behind there.
This is incredible. Looks like Charlotte Ward's off the back of this group, and it's a fight now for the last few stages. Alexandra Hornig looking really good. Sarah Hagström in a good position ahead of Lina Strand, Elena Roos. What will happen now in this last semi-final? Who will make it through? It's looking like Alexandra Hornig will make it for Poland. Sarah Hagström is in a good position, sprinting hard, and those 2 are clear of the rest. Hornig and Hagström.
Oh,
Who would have seen that coming?
that was
Goodness
so
me.
unnecessary. I mean, they had the lead, they had a big gap already. They would have had time to invest into this, to build in a little bit of safety there, but they did a mistake. They didn't see that the passage was closed there. You have to be careful all the way. And I think what we have learned is to not hold the race to finish too early. Everything can happen. I mean, it's a tricky sprint. We have been talking about this before. And there are many different route choice options. There are many intense parts where you have to be very focused to not lose connection to the map. And that's what they did from control 7 to 8. They thought they could get out through the passage there, and they got stuck.
Okay, this seems like the race that split up the most. So let's see if we can see what happened on the route choice analysis. So this is where we saw Katarina Gemma really attack the first part of the course, maybe didn't think about what the pace would be, and then everybody grouped back up together at number 2.
And they were all together here between control 2 and 3, but then they were splitting up on different route choices. You can see Charlotte Ward going more to the north, and the group with Elena Roos and Lina Strand, Sarah Hagström going to the south, and this was clearly faster here. Ward and Tsema, they lost about 8 seconds on this route here. They could have entered this, they could have continued to the south there, running down where Hagström and Roos are
We're just
at
past,
the moment. Yeah.
And then they see each other as they run into control 3.
And then here we have a small mistake by Elena Roos.
Yeah,
She missed this
opens
passage.
Yeah.
Go back again.
So then we had a group of 4, that Ward and Gemma really trying to catch up. Hagström was in the lead at that point. And then again, we know they split up into control number 6 with, I think, Elena Roos and Lina Strand taking that really good route choice. The others maybe don't lose as much time as, they only lose a few seconds or so.
And now Look at this, at control 7,
This
they
is
were
a
running
mistake.
here and they thought that they would
so
get
far
out
ahead.
there. You can't see it under the graphics, but there is a closed passage.
Alexandra Hornick was so
and
quick to get
Hornick,
through there.
I mean,
Maybe she's been there before and she knows what it looks like. And
it's not the best route choice, but due to the fact that the others miss like 10 seconds on the other route choice, she gets the chance to be in front there, and in the end it got close, but she managed to keep that gap all the way to the finish.
Yeah, that's what it looked like at the start.
You can all see how happy she is on the face of Hornick here.
Yeah, to be the first one out of that building, and you know, she wasn't pushed too closely. And for Sarah Hagström, I look at how happy she is to make it through to that final. So Alexandra Hornick and Sarah Hagström join Eve van Dongen, Megan Carter-Davis, Simona Abersold and Tove Alexanderson in that final. Fantastic stuff. It's really going to be incredibly intense, I think, from those. So we will look back then at some of the pictures from the men's race as we get set then for this men's final. Looking back at some of the finishes, so we will see Tim Robertson, August Mullane, Jonathan Gustafsson, Loic Kaplan, Matthias Kiberts and Chris Jones fighting it out to be crowned the first ever world champion in knockout sprints. Only ever going to happen to one person or two people, men and women, but this is what we like to see in knockout sprint. Of course, everyone had the same courses, no forking or anything, and it was still saw quite a few mistakes. Okay, we reset. We can take a pause and we look back. We look again to the men's, and this is the final now. This is the course.
Yeah, and don't think we have run out of route choices, because there are many to come here. The first one already to the first control, of course. I think there are about 4 different options here. Then quite an easy one to the second control. It's important though that you go through this backyard to control 2. There's a route choice to control 3. You can back out from the control more or less. Then you get after the arena passage at control 5, and then you go back again into this area where we have been in the semi-final. 8 and then 9-10 will be the decisive leg, and also here from 10 to 11 there's a small passage just left to the red line, and I think it's very important to see that one if we want to be fast to the last control. So I think if you miss that one, I don't know if you have the chance to win a medal. But let's take a look here at the different options to control 1. And as I said, there are about 4 different options and some hybrid options as well, where you can choose between 2 different. The shortest one, the green one, is also kind of smooth because you don't have to take any steps or anything. It's, in my opinion, the fastest one. It's the one you would want to choose. But you see as well, it's just a few meters difference between those different options. And it's actually a mix between, we are both in the area where we have been in the quarterfinal, and we are in the second loop, we are in the area where we have been in the semi-final. So
they actually even had that control before.
Yeah.
That's first control.
So, and then from 2 to 3, as I mentioned, different options there as well. The good thing, if you come from the yellow and green one, you have a lot of time to prepare yourself for the next route choice or for what's coming, because you can't miss that control. Often when you have in sprint, when you have some time to prepare, you have to be very careful to not miss any entrance or anything, and here you the control will stop you anyway. So that's the advantage. If you come from there, I think distance wise it doesn't really matter where you come from. Then this 9 to 10, the last route choice, maybe the point where the competition will be decided. See the different options here. I think it's a good one to come from the green choice. It's the shortest one. It's not too difficult to execute, and you can also see that they moved this artificial fences. So you don't think that you can just memorize it from the semi-final to the final. It will be different here and here. Very careful from 10 to 11. Don't run where Ida Bobak is running, because there's an opening to the left. That's slightly faster, and it's very hard to see. But if you see it, you have a big advantage.
You do. Orienteering until the very last few meters of the race. Okay, let's look at this start list then. And we've got 5 different nations represented in the 6th. Half of these men will go home with medals, half of them will go home with nothing. I'm going to build up all the tension as much as we possibly can here. It's such an exciting race. Tim Robertson then, he managed to scrape his way through every single round this time. He was 12th in the qualifier. He's managed to make it through. August Mollane is a new name to the scene, but he should not be underestimated. He is incredibly quick, and he has performed well on knockouts before. Loic Capben managed to recover from a trip going down the carpets to absolutely beast the other guys in the sprint finish. Will he have been will he have used up too much energy? Jonathan Gustafsson, he likes to control the race. Matthias Kibbert has got good form on the knockout sprint, and Chris Jones wants to get another medal again in the, wants to get his first medal in the knockout sprint, sorry. Incredibly tight, incredibly tough between these 6 men and the challenge that they have before them. Okay, the final men's knockout sprint. They are underway.
You can see how careful Loic Capben was going out from the start here, and this will be such an interesting final, because all of the runners here, they have shown that they can be very good individually. They have been active throughout the courses, or at least they have shown a clear tactic when they were running in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. We have different kind of runners. Chris Jones, he wanted to be in the lead. He's in the lead now. He wants to control. Keyboards has shown that he wanted to be a bit behind, control from behind, and trusts on his last meters. And then Robertson, maybe the one that, you see it.
He goes a different way.
He goes a different way there.
And the others won't have seen that he's gone a different way. Maybe he will try and up the pace to try and get ahead of them.
I don't know if you noticed that, because he was kind of the
He was at
last
the
runner.
back, yeah.
Let's see, but it doesn't really matter where you go here. Both options are good. I think they will come together again at Control 1.
We will see Tim Robertson choosing a different route. Jones just jumping whatever that bench that is in the way. And looking good. Then we will see who manages to make it first to the tree. Jones is first. Where is Robertson? He's there. So it's very, very similar.
He was lost in the group there, but he's going on his own again. And this one is better. I'm quite sure this one is better.
Yeah, I think so too. Cutting through there, everybody else goes around, and he may well go from last to first. Let's see, Jones is there, still leading, Gustafsson is there, and they are still ahead. Ooh,
maybe a position going again on his own.
Okay.
Very active here. That's where we were, what we were talking about before. It's maybe slightly a bit of an advantage to be the one coming from the north. Because you have a lot of time to prepare, but we saw that before. Robertson, he obviously doesn't need so much time to prepare, because he was prepared for every control here and choosing his own route.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that their speed is high from just being able to run very solidly down this track. They will go and cross this square by the water, and then of course they have to do a very sharp left-hand turn to go back up to control number 3. So here is this area that's been taken out. Look how Tim Robertson looks left just to check exactly where they've got to go. And then they'll see the other runners coming from the other direction. Who makes it to control 3 first? Robertson and Mollane. Oh, Oh, just ahead of the others. And what's happened to Jones? He is off the back here. There was a mistake there from Chris Jones. And he's going to have to work hard to get back in amongst this group.
It will be very tough for Chris Jones here to get back into this group. You see that they are splitting up again. Kibbutz going to the left, the others going to the right. When we were running it before, didn't really matter where you go.
You can see the different routes through this, around this kind of town hall, very angular building.
And then to control 5, it's an easy one, no route choice there. You go back into this backyard, and to control 5 and the arena passage. I think they're all together now again. See it, Robertson punched first, Molin on second, Kibbutz on third, and Gustafsson, and yeah, they all shared second place there.
Again, you've got to cut back through this car park where we've seen them before, and then we'll very shortly see them at this arena passage. Here they are, these 5 guys really close. Chris Jones off the back, but Tim Robertson is leading the way, followed by the 2 Swedes.
And it'll be interesting to see when we look back to the past knockout sprints. When Kibbutz won, it was always the case that he had a good route choice in the very end, and that he was preparing it before approaching this last route choice, and let's see how it will be today.
So now they have moved the barriers here, but they will head through this similar way that we've all seen them go before, through this school area, kindergarten area, and they will all go the same way here.
I don't think anything will happen until control 9, and then we will see an explosion of things happening within a short while, I guess.
I think you may be right. They've all been in here. They've got to go sharply through this position, and Tim Robertson in control here.
You can still see that the speed is high, but it's not that rush that we have seen in the end of the semi-final for some of the heats.
And I wonder if Chris Jones is just catching up a few meters here and there.
But he will
be expending a lot of energy to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
He will indeed.
And the colors here are a bit misleading. You can cut the corner there, the edge. It's an olive green, not a yellow. This is the
Control 8.
Control 8, and then they will go back there. And now it will be very interesting. There's Control 9, you can see it, just the wall of the house here. And now it will be interesting to see what they're doing.
Okay, they all go the same way, at least to start with.
Not Chris Jones.
Not Chris Jones.
That was expected.
Yeah, he's got to take the risk to go the other way and see what he can do to try and take back some time. He's got to push hard here, but this is going to be tough. A tough ask, I think.
And now we see that Molin and Kibbutz are on their own.
And Gustafsson and Robertson go the middle route.
I think.
Yeah, this may be good for... I don't know, it's hard to tell. Really hard to tell. They'll probably go back via 5, is my guess, the group who have gone to the east.
I think this looks good for Kibbutz and Molin. Let's wait for the answer here. Here's Kibbutz.
Here's Molin, and we're looking at the last control very shortly. I want to see where everybody else is.
Here they are, here are the others. And this looks really good for Kibbutz now.
Kibbutz, can he get another gold medal? Can he get the first ever win in the knockout sprint? And Kibbutz is there. Molin is chasing him, but Kibbutz has done exactly the right route choice where it matters. He takes the title. He is the first ever world champion.
What a tactic genius he is in the very end here. It's just having the control. You can see that he prepared this last route choice. He's just executing it so well, and you could feel it throughout the whole course. He has control, he's waiting, he's planning, and then at control 9 he's just hitting it.
Yeah, he doesn't take too many risks early on. He stays with everybody, and he is rewarded then with another win. And it is Switzerland taking the title, Mollén in the silver, Gustafsson in the bronze. And really, where it mattered on that final, they had it right. I do feel for Tim Robertson. He's been after a medal at the World Championships for, well, he's got a medal at the World Championships. He's after a title. He really is. He really wants it. He'll have another opportunity in 2 days.
I do feel for everyone in this race, because all of them have proven that they would be worth a medal here. Loikepen had such a great semi-final when he fighted back after his rough start, and Gustafsson, he was maybe not the most visible runner throughout the competition here, but he seemed to have control, and he was playing his strength, his physical strength very well. In the end, I mean, everyone was, let's say everyone except for Chris Jones, who had it a bit rough here somewhere. He must have lost.
Made a mistake. Maybe
there
he missed the entrance into the...
I think he kind of lost contact to the map and was unsure and didn't just want to follow what he should have done in this case. Or maybe he was falling. We don't know.
No, maybe you're right. Maybe he did fall.
But you can feel like everyone was in possession when it counted. Everyone was there at Control 9, and everyone had the chance on the last true choice to win the medal. But what I like, I mean, I was talking about that before, that it might be, I mean, this is a very intense sprint. It has been in the quarterfinal, in the semi-final, and in the final, and we have not seen any forkings at all. And we were talking about it, that it's maybe too intense to have it unforked, because if you're not sure, if you're in doubt, you're following. And it was the case until the semi-final, but in the final, the level of the runners was good enough to do it like this, because they want to win. Tim Robertson, he wants to go on his own route choices. They want to win. They don't want to end up in second or third or fourth. They want to win, so they give it everything. They trust in their abilities to choose the right route, and that's what I really like when I see those finals, all the finals we have seen throughout the knockout history.
Yeah, when it comes to the sharp end, it is all about the orienteering. Say what you want about the knockout sprint being a running race, but the orienteering always comes through so far in this knockout sprint.
I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be the same guys winning all the time. We have seen, I mean, Kiburtz has been in almost all of the finals we have seen.
Yeah, and he's won many of them. You know, he's almost overtaken Wojciech Kral as now being the master of the knockout sprint, and just knows how to race it tactically. He identifies, I think, the part of the course where it will be decisive, and knows where not to take risks and knows where to take those risks. And I think the others were they were taking a risk very early on in some of those route choices, but that's how they felt. You know, all of these runners, they come from time trial. We're all used to doing time trials, so we're used to looking at our own maps and saying, this is the better route, I'm going to pick this, and that's what they did there. That's what they all did. So another world title then for Matthias Kiburtz, the first ever knockout sprint world champion. Let's hear from him now.
Matthias Kiburtz, world champion in knockout sprint. What are your feelings right now?
It's unbelievable. After being European champion, winning the World Cup round this year, still being on top of the podium in this crazy discipline. It's amazing.
Take us through your day.
Well, they started really good with solid qualification, and also in the quarterfinal I had it somehow under control. I was prepared for the last decisive route, so it was also quite smooth. The semi was quite not optimal for me, I have to say. I was always behind and basically just followed Chris Jones, but now the final was again a really great race for me.
And what did you think in the last part of the final when you were a little bit behind?
Yeah, I was never that much behind, and when we were going to the 7 control probably, I had the feeling I have the route, we are exactly running the route which I want to go to last control, so 2 easy controls and then I kick, and this is exactly how it went, and I was so confident this last route will be the right one, and so the finish shoot was, it feels like paradise.
And you first world champion 10 years ago. What does it feel like to be a champion now again?
Yeah, of course it's great. Being between the two youngster Swedes and I'm the old guy, I would say, shows that I'm still on top. That's nice.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Great to hear then from our winner today. What do you make of what he said, Jonas?
Well, it shows that he is so confident, and it also shows how much he was planning from the beginning, and I think that's the reason why he's always a little bit behind in the beginning. He's looking for the decisive moment of the course, picking it out, and really make sure that he has the right route, because he said that I was very confident to have the right route to the second last control. This shows that he saw the other route choices as well, and decided that, okay, that's the one I'm going for. And that's very impressive, because you have to, I mean, it's hard to do when you're only focused on this leg, but you have to be focused on the course while you're on different parts of the course while you're planning ahead to execute this leg later on, and that's very impressive.
Yeah, we really can't overstate how impressive the performance is and what high level, you know, he's competing at, because it's just fantastic. So we're going to have the flower ceremony then for the men's final. All the results are confirmed, and then we will get underway very shortly after that with the women's final.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the flower ceremony.
And August Molén, kind of the shooting star, proved here that it wasn't a coincidence in Borås that he ended up in the podium. He seems to be a real knockout specialist.
Yeah, and we are getting these knockout specialists. I think when it was first introduced, we think, were we gonna get that? And we really, really have. And as Matthias Kibertz rightly said, two comparatively inexperienced Swedes who kept their cool when they needed to. It's a stressful thing to be in competing at a world champs, let alone being in the final of the knockout sprint.
It was the first world champs for both of them, so it's that's impressive.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, if you think about what's coming,
it is a crazy discipline, as Kibbutz mentioned as well. It would have been interesting to hear what he thinks is crazy about it. But in my opinion, it's crazy because it's so intense. You have so much going on all the time, and you have to be focused on your run anyway, but also keep control over the others. It's just a whole different dimension.
So many ways your brain is going, and you have to run quickly as well. Matthias Kibertz has proved he knows how to do a knockout sprint. As you heard him say, European champion, World Cup champion in Borås, now the world champion as well. Well deserved, fantastic effort from the Swiss runner. And they are the top three, they are the medalists today. Amazing stuff from the three of them.
If you think what shock August Molén had in the semi-final when he went down from the start, he was lying on the ground for a long time until he got back on his feet, and now he's standing here with a silver medal.
So now we are getting
incredible stuff. What a comeback. I was a bit worried he was injured after that falling down off the carpet, but not at all. Okay, that is the men's. That's the first set of medals awarded today. Next up, it's the women's, and we will look first of all at the course map. It is the same as the men's here, but we will talk you through it once more.
We have seen here Tim Robertson going more to the left, all the others going to the right. Was not a very big difference also when the route choice to the second control. Then it was slightly faster to go south to the third control. But all in all, at the fifth control, we've seen all together. So it didn't really matter what you take. You just kind of can show the others that you're active and that you're doing your job. And then 9 to 10, the decisive flag. We've seen I think 3 different options run here by the athletes, and the one to the left run by Kibbutz and Molén was the fastest one. And well, it's not a very big risk to say that 9 to 10 will also be most probably decisive. Or, I mean, if Tove not has decided to race before, but it has the potential to be decisive also in the women's race.
It does indeed have the potential to be the pinch point, and I think the best runners will identify that. They'll realise exactly what's going on. So we think that this is not quite right, that start list. We think Alexandra Hornik has been disqualified, and the Team Poland confirming that they will not complain about that disqualification, which therefore means that Lena Strand is confirmed for an advance into the final by virtue of finishing third in her semi-final. So we'll see as they line up. I'm just going to check. Yeah, Lena Strand is there. So yeah, Strand has been advanced, and she was so unlucky in the last section. She just didn't see a route, so she's got all to something to prove in this final. Sarah Haugston was so ecstatic to be able to make it through to this final in the first place, and she is really up for this. So too, Yves van Dongen, could it be the best ever result for the Netherlands?
Actually, no, now. The best result before is a 6th place from the World Championships 2007, Jon Arem Muren in the middle distance. So she has equalized that already.
Megan Carter-Davies as well, after silver medal for her in this event a month ago. Simone Abersold is ready and waiting, and the favourite here is Tove Alexandersson from Sweden. She knows how to do this. She was pushed quite hard by Megan Carter-Davies in the last World Cup round. So we'll see what happens. Alexandra Hornik disqualified for no punch on a control. I think that's the news we get through. So such a shame not to see Poland represented, but it means we could see Sweden 1, 2, 3 in this women's final. So they are ready with their maps. One last route round after a long day's work of racing. I always wonder what is going through their heads at the very start of the course, and they are straight into the maps and ready to go. Almost looks like people running into the back of Yves van Dongen there, and they round this corner heading out for this final. Let's see who takes the initiative here. Looks like Tove Alexandersson is towards the front, but maybe it's hard to tell when the camera shortens the view like this. And Abersold will head up towards the water. So Abersold, Carter-Davies just accelerating up this hill.
Yeah, you can also see that Tove is not in the lead here. So maybe she's kind of made a change in tactics, or she doesn't feel really ready to go up there and push.
Or she's kind of doing what Sarah Hagström is, and looking at maybe the other side of the map, looking to take as much information as she can and store it in her brain as early as she can.
Back up here already.
Okay, watch out for the bikes. Oh, probably. Will they go down the steps?
They will go up the steps. It would have been the option to continue a little bit to avoid the steps, but I mean it's.
And now they split. Some gone left, some gone right. I think they have. Yves van Dongen, Lena Strand, and Sarah Hagström. We follow them now.
Yeah, I think it's a good option to go to the right, but let's see, because the steps there are quite steep.
We'll see them shortly grouped together at the tree.
Yeah,
it's good for the other group.
It's quite a bit faster here.
And they've seen that route through the field as well. So it looks like Alexandersson and Carter-Davies was that a little bit off the front.
And talking about Alexandersson and Carter-Davies.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, it gives us some memories, a flashback to Borås. Different routes here. And we know from the men's final that it was a good choice to go there where Megan Carter-Davies is going. Also Abersold and Strand.
So they split up here. And we're behind Carter-Davies.
But also in this final you can see it's a much more active final than the semi-finals and quarterfinals. Runners actually take different routes. But we can see that they get together again. They don't go all the way to the south
and round the
as
water.
Robertson.
And it's quite spread out at this point for me. Maybe shows there's a high speed, and now they've got to navigate all the shoppers.
Definitely shows it's a high speed. Tuve really pushes hard here. We see that Van Dongen is on third position.
And there is a little route choice then through to the next control. We've seen them split up already a lot, and there's only been 3 controls. Will we see it again?
It's about 3 seconds, I guess. And, but back to Strand. I guess it's about 10 seconds already, so that's
it's quite a gap. It's a surprise to see a gap of this
you
much.
can see
They
the gap
all go
is
the
just
same
growing
way.
and growing
They do.
between Tuve Alexandersson and Megan Carter-Davis. But I mean, we have a tricky second part. There's a route choice waiting. Both to the 7th and to the 10th control.
That's a section they were specifically warned about in the bulletin, about kind of going through these glass doors, through the buildings. Just really makes this map so much more complicated. And just look at the speed of Alexanderson. It's incredible.
It's not only the speed, it's also that she's running like on rails. There is no hesitation. It's just no extra meters, nothing. It's just poor joy of orienteering to watch.
Yeah, no hesitation whatsoever. Here she is through the arena passage then. And this point, the ropes, the barriers have changed. They've been removed out at this point, but we do have a different route choice then from 6 to 7. She's looking really, really carefully at this route choice. Carter-Davis and Van Dongen are there. A little bit of a gap then back to Abersol. 9 seconds ahead. Alexanderson is so strong, so strong.
And then you can see that Hagström and Strand 16, 19 seconds behind. It's quite a gap already. They're not going the same route. We have seen a few of the others running in the men's final.
They will cross this square. Yeah, everybody else is following, I think, in the same direction. There they are. Carter-Davis really being chased by Van Dongen, and then the pace is so high here. You can tell that these are the best runners in the world, and they are splitting up. The pace is
but
so
still,
high.
it's a surprise that we have a runner from the Netherlands on this bronze position right now. Carter-Davis, Van Dongen here, and Abersold getting a little bit closer again to this medal position. Hagström and
I'm
Strand.
surprised these 2 Swedes are off the back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Lena Strand's form looks
I mean,
to be
it's
so
not-
good, but maybe
it's
she
not-
had to fight. She's tired from the race, you know.
It's not so easy when you get when you're out and then you get the decision that you're back in again. Maybe you have to reload, you have to refocus. Here's Tuve Alexandersson
Into the
on
8th
this
control, back
already.
out the same way.
And here soon.
One gap. This is incredible stuff.
Yeah, so now she is on this route choice leg.
Megan Carter-Davis looking really closely at her
Feels
map
that the
there.
others have taken different route choices here. Oh, small mistake. Yes, indeed. There is Abersold coming from another direction. Where are the 2 Swedish runners? Here they come.
Go. Okay.
They can't see where
Alexanderson has gone. No. They continue on then through here.
You can see the tactics by Abersold going another route than the 2 other competitors, Carter-Davis and Van Dongen, but it seemed that Van Dongen and Carter-Davis, they had a good route choice there. Here we are with Alexandersson, not anymore.
And I'm interested to see if the others have followed them.
They're not
No,
on the
not
kibbutz route. Let's see, but the others there again behind. kind of the different start of the route, but now they will be on the same route, all of them, Alexanderson and the whole rest of the pack. So it's seems to be that we have Alexanderson going to win this race, and then it's a fight between Megan Carter-Davies and Eve van Dongen.
So here she is, Tova Alexanderson, a masterclass performance from Tova. We're so used to seeing this. She is in control. Her form is incredible, and she makes it 17. This is amazing, and I want to look now to see who gets silver and bronze. Megan Carter-Davies and Eve van Dongen are here. They're really fighting really, really hard here to see who can get the silver and the bronze. Carter-Davies is going to make it there. Carter-Davies gets silver. Eve van Dongen gets bronze. The best ever result for the Netherlands, with a bronze medal for them. Sarah Hagström gets fourth, Abersol into fifth, and where is Lena Strand? Goodness me. That was an incredible set of races, and some different route choices at the end. Ultimately, Alexanderson won it by her incredible speed. The way she was able to go that fast through all the orienteering and still make the great route choices and not make a mistake. She didn't hesitate once. That was incredible.
When you see Alexanderson in this shape, with this kind of execution of all of the legs, it makes just every orienteer's heart beat a little bit faster, because it's just, I mean, this is perfection. It's you can't see anything that's not perfect in this run. Maybe, I mean, okay, you can go and maybe the route choice to the last control, but if you see how it's executed, how distinct she's running, how well prepared she is at every control, it's, I mean, there's no doubt that she's going to win when she's running like this. There's no way that the others can get close to her at any point of the race.
I mean, Alexanderson's in the form that she could do exactly what she did in Czech Republic and make a 30-second mistake and win. She's incredible.
But then at the same time, we have to say that behind her, what Megan Carter-Davies is doing is kind of the same, but maybe not at the same physical level. But she's running very well. We have seen that in Groas, in the sprint, maybe not in the sprint, in the finish, like in the last part of the sprint relay. But she is really a runner that got confidence during the last competitions, and very well deserved silver. But then the bronze. I mean, you could have won a lot of money.
Betting the Netherlands for this.
I mean, she has proven at the Swedish Championships that she is close to the top athletes in Sweden. When she was, I think she was just outside the medals in the knockout sprint there, and. But I mean, it's a different kind of thing to show that in the World Championships, and she has no team to compare with. She's here, as you mentioned. She's the only athlete from the nation.
I don't even think there's an official from the Netherlands.
I have seen one today.
Okay, you have seen one. Okay. We knew she's got good form. You know, we picked her as one to watch, but picking her for a medal, I mean, that would have been, you would have got a lot of money for that.
But you could feel here it was a totally different kind of race compared to the men's final, because this one was more about, you could feel that there are three runners having more power left than the others, and none of them did a mistake. And then it was kind of the logical finish of this, logical result of this kind of equation, because I didn't see a chance for Van Dongen to pass Megan Carter-Davies. There was no chance for Megan Carter-Davies to pass Alexanderson. There was maybe some chance that Abersol could get closer, but in the end it was not tight either. So it was less action, but it was still impressive.
Yeah, it was still some good drama, and I think you mentioned it, you hinted at it there. It's the how much energy and how much speed you have left at the end of the day. You've got to try and conserve as much energy as you can. You've got to do all that recovery in between. It's such a grueling schedule that you've really got to have trained incredibly hard to be able to do this. And maybe that's what we saw with kind of Strand and Hagström and Abersol, just not having quite that much pace and speed and attack on the end, because they weren't really making mistakes.
I have to be honest, I thought that the only one in this heat that really could challenge Alexanderson would be Lena Strand, maybe, with what I've seen from the sprint relay. But yeah,
Right, let's
Costs
hear
too much energy.
Let's hear from Alexanderson, the winner, then.
Tove, you had 16 World Championship gold medals before this, but now you have no one in knockout sprint. How do you feel right now?
Oh, it feels amazing. It's been a so good day. The course has been really challenging, and I knew that you had to be focused all the time, and the route choices are really tricky, so I just wanted to stay focused and don't do any mistake, and yeah, I'm so satisfied with the race I did in the final.
Did you fulfill your plan throughout the whole day?
Yeah, I did stable races, and the best one was in the final, so that was good. It was better and better. I was more comfortable with the technique in the final. Maybe I was a bit more focused, and I have just enjoyed the race today.
Did you do any special preparations for the knockout sprint world champs?
Oh yeah, I've been training a lot for this, and I've been focused a lot just on the knockout sprint, because I felt that it's maybe there I have my weaknesses with the tactic and the fast finishing, so I have really worked with that, and I'm sure that I have improved, so yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations then to Tove Alexanderson. She didn't need that fast finish on this race. She had a clear gap ahead of everyone else. She had a fast middle, sort of start, middle and finish, to be honest.
And you don't have to have the tactics if you can run like this. I mean,
yeah, but she had that smooth orienteering nature. She just didn't hesitate.
yeah, but that's not a
times.
tactic. That's just
That's
that's
no,
just
that's not
a
tactic.
super
That's technique.
strength.
That's technique. It's skill and technique. And she was able to get the applause of the whole crowd here. What a fantastic whole day. You know, this has been over 10 hours of orienteering throughout the whole of today, and ultimately we end up with 2 world champions. It was a 15-second gap in the end for Alexanderson over the rest of the pack, and I mean, what can we say about lots of different nations, especially the women's getting on the podium? We will award them their flowers now before the results are made official, just in case there are any protests or anything like that. I haven't heard of anything, so don't panic if you are a fan of any of the top 3. So we will welcome them onto the stage very, very shortly to end up with this, to culminate this day of sprint racing. So much effort has gone in today with the planners. I think there are about 150 people, volunteers, out on the course today to make sure everything went smoothly. All the gates were open, everything not. But let's talk about this one. Let's talk about Yves van Dongen, the best ever result for the Netherlands. Yves van Dongen gets a bronze medal, a massive outsider, and
it's
just
not even,
performed incredibly
it's not
well.
even that you have the feeling that it's a lucky one
No,
or something.
no,
It was so well deserved.
yeah.
She was. I mean, there's no discussion about that.
No.
She was there. There was throughout the whole final. She was in this 3rd spot.
Megan Carter-Davis gets a 2nd silver medal of these World Championships. What can she do in the individual sprint as well? She will race that one too. And
gold medalist.
Tove Alexanderson keeps her winning streak going. I want to kind of have a look at the World Champs, just how many she's won in a row, because it is incredible. It's number 17 for Tove Alexanderson. She won everything in the World Cup, the World Champs in 2021 in the Czech Republic, and I think it's looking good for everything again. We thought people were getting close, but she is so dominant. She is such a quality athlete for Sweden. Fantastic stuff. So congratulations then to all 3. What a fantastic evening of races, all through from the qualification, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and then these 2 finals. And we've got more sprint orienteering to come as well, of course, on Thursday when we head to Weiler for the individual sprints. Amazing stuff from the medalists today. Congratulations to them. Okay, then we'll be back on Thursday with after the the qualification in the morning, top 15 to go through, and then we will be there, ready and waiting for the finals to crown some new world champions. We'll see you on Thursday.
See you then.
In some minutes, please stay and be with us during the medal ceremony also. First for the men, the 6 best, and then for the women, also the 6 best. So in a couple of minutes, we will have the medal ceremony after this knockout sprint here in Fredericia.